Hi folks, this video will show you how I made this adorable origami pouch. In my next video, I'm going to be making a large version with a shoulder strap. You don't want to miss that one. I think it's going to be really fun. So subscribe to my YouTube channel and tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss it. Keep watching. So for this demo, I've cut two squares, 12 by 12. I've just cut them out by hand quickly so I can get this demo done. If you're going under 11.5 inches, of course, you can use your maker to cut them out. I'm not using any fusible interfacing, but if you'd like to have a more formed pouch, something more sturdy, you can add fusible interfacing to your fabric. I would suggest adhering it before you cut out your squares. So the first thing we're going to do is place our squares good sides together, and we're going to sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way around, stopping about 3.5 to 4 inches apart so that we have a space to turn it right side out. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. And here we are. I've top stitched all the way around. I used red thread, so I'm showing it to you on my lining side so that you can see that I've top stitched, and I've stopped about 3 or 4 inches, let's say 4 inches, so that I have a place to turn right side out. I've back stitched at both ends to make sure I don't pull my seams apart. So I'm just going to trim some excess off my corners, being careful not to cut through my sewing. You don't want to do that. You'll have a hole in your project. There we go. We'll just get rid of that. So now I'm just going to turn my project right side out, pull everything through the opening we left. We can reach right in and push our corners out nice and neat. You want them as pointy as you can get them. There we go. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this a good press to get it nice and flat and pull all my seams open nice and flat. I'm going to press along this edge to fold in, and then I'm going to top stitch all the way around. So that's the next step, and I'll be back to show you how it turns out. Okay, I've done my top stitching. So you're going to place your fabric or your square that's top stitched. And when you do that, you want to be sure that you sew over your opening so that it doesn't come apart. With the lining, your choice, the lining side facing up, you want to find about 1/3. So you want to fold your fabric, make sure that it's about 1/3, make sure you're not folding anything that's a little too tight. So we're going to go a little shorter, like that, and we'll try that. That looks good. So I'm just going to take this. This is a heat erase pen, and I've closed it really tight. There we go. And I'm just going to make a mark at 1/3 here and 1/3 there. I'm going to just finger press here so I know where that mark goes. 1/3 here and 1/3 here. Okay, now we're going to turn it, and we're going to do the same thing in the other direction. Get that line lined up. That looks good. Okay. So we're marking 1/3. I'm going to finger press this, and we're going to mark 1/3 again. There, that's good. Okay, so our next step, I'm going to turn it this way because the marks are more visible. I'm going to fold in from this mark to this mark. Make sure we get it straight. Yep. And I'm going to do the same on this side from this mark. There we go. So we've got it folded kind of like an envelope. I'm going to fold it up. Just to find my center. Make sure that's nice and straight. And we'll get that pen again. This is going to be my center mark. And here's my center on this side. Okay. I'm going to open it back up. And I'm going to put a pin in this just to keep it in place so it doesn't unfold. Okay, that should be good. We'll turn it over, and I have my center marks. So I'm going to go, that's a big ruler. We'll find a smaller ruler. I'm going to go 1 inch on each side of that center mark. Be sure to line it up nice and well. Be sure to line it up well with your center marks. There we go. And I'm just going to draw myself a little guideline for sewing. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the other direction. 1 inch from the center. Just draw a couple of guide marks. There we go. So I'm going to sew 2 seams, one along each guideline, which is 1 inch each side of the center. I'll do that and I'll be right back. And we've got that done. I have my 2 seams sewn along the bottom, so that gives some shape to the bottom of the pouch. The next thing we're going to do is fold our points down, and we'll throw a pin in them just to keep it in place. Do the same on the other side. Fold that down and put a pin in it. And now we're going to sew our channels for our drawstring. So because this is a very small pouch that I'm using as a demo, I'm just going to use a rope like this instead of a ribbon. So I'm going to use that for my drawstring. If you're making this larger, you might want to leave a larger channel, but I'm going to do about maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch for my channel on both sides. So we're going to do a top and bottom seam and a top and bottom seam for our channel. So I've done my channels for my drawstring. I think this little peekaboo is so cute. I've done between 1/4 and 1/2 inch for my drawstring at both ends. So now what we're going to do is fold this up good sides together. We're going to sew down both sides, back stitching at the ends to make sure it doesn't come apart. I'll trim these threads that I have left over here. I should have trimmed them before. I'll trim all those away. So I'm going to sew down both sides. Then I'm going to open it up and box my corner, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so I've sewn down both sides, and you can see that I've done less than 1/4 inch, making sure that I didn't close up my channels for my drawstring. So I've done a tiny sew down both sides, and I've back stitched at both ends to protect the seams when I turn it right side out. So now we're going to box the corner in the same way that we always do. Okay, I'm going to line that up, and I'm just going to do a little corner on these. It's a small drawstring pouch, so I don't want to take off too much. So I'm just going to box a little corner. You don't even have to do that if you just want to keep it as a straight pouch. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to just do a little box on the corner. And I'll be right back. And here we are. I've done the little box on the bottom of the pouch. At this point, you've done French seams on the sides, so you have nothing to do there. If you cut off these little corners, you'll want to do either serging or a zigzag stitch to close up the edges so you don't have any raw edges. I'm going to cut those off. Just use a scissor. It's quite a thickness that we're going through. We'll cut on both sides. There we go. And now we're going to turn our little pouch right side out. I will go back and do a zigzag stitch on those little corners to keep them nice and neat. So we have our little pouch ready. This is adorable. And now I'm going to put in my drawstring. Very cute. So this pouch, I used a 12 by 12 squares, and this pouch came out about 4.5 by almost 5. So the larger you cut your squares, the larger your pouch will be. So that's cute. I'm going to get my rope. This is all unrolling, but that's okay. We're going to double it because we want to go around both sides. I'll make that my length. And I'll cut another piece the same length. I really should roll those up and tape them so they stop coming undone. Okay. There we go. We have our 2 pieces of rope. So we're just going to attach this to a pin. I could put the pin through it, but I'm afraid it would fray the rope, so I'm just going to tie a knot in it to pull it through. We'll undo that after. So we're just going to pass through our opening. And we're just going to feed it through. It's a little difficult to get started, but once you get going, there we go. I'm going all the way around. The pin comes through. We want to continue on the other side and just keep going. Again, you're going to have to get that knot in. We go. These are so cute. And I'm going to do a video for a larger one, but also I thought it would be cute to make a very large one that you could use as a shoulder bag. Not necessarily in theme fabric, of course, not necessarily in Christmas fabric, but I thought that would be fun to do. Get that out of there. Undo our knot. Let's make sure these are pretty much even. And I'm just going to tie a knot to attach the two together. There we go. Tie that nice and tight. And we'll just trim it off. And now we're going to go back the same way. So we have the loop on this side where we went between the two channels. So this time we're going to start on this side where the loop is and go around all the way to the other side. So once again, I'm just going to tie my rope onto a pin. It's going to be a little tighter because I didn't leave a great big channel. So it's going to take a little extra pulling or maneuvering to get this through, but we'll do it. There we go. So starting on the channel on the side with the loop from the first rope, I'm going to go around again. I'm going to work that knot into the channel. Got it? And we're going to go around again. It's a little tighter this time because we already have one rope in there. Okay, we'll untie our knot again. Get those a little more even. Tie a knot at the end. And we'll just trim those off. And there it is, our cute little bag. Pull the strings. Isn't that adorable? You have a little peekaboo where you can see the lining fabric. It's so cute on both sides. I love this. I think it's such an adorable little pouch you can use for gift giving or just make it for yourself or around your craft room. So I'm going to, like I mentioned, I'm going to make a larger version with a handle, and of course not made out of Christmas fabric, so that you can use it as a tote bag or a shoulder bag, whatever you like. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you decide to make some of these origami pouches, please post pictures. I'd love to see how they turn out. And thank you for watching.